time remembering my name.
I know it's not bird with broken wing.
There it is.
It's right on the tip of my tongue.
That's not it.
Damn.
I almost had it.
The gavel slammed so hard it knocked syllables out of my mouth. All I heard was bang, bang,
It
bang.
banged so loud, I couldn't hear my heartbeat.
It was louder than your logic is disabled when your hands are unable to bring bread and meat home for the table. Hard to think we're hungry, so the reasons escape you.
Italian beef dip with extra cheese won't save
Whoa,
you.
whoa. What was that?
I'm not sure, but it felt familiar as talking drum for runaways.
But they didn't want syllables. Nah, they needed a body, a name they could spell on a check.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Whoa, there it goes again.
Dimly lit in the forgotten places of my brain, but it fades, and the bars of my cell begin to come into view.
They called me.
Nothing. Cause see, I am the part of us who's beginning to accept our chains. The part who's ready to accept not only the names, but also the accompanying pains. With the welts from the belts, the cap, the slacks, the shirt, the socks, and the 2 sizes small ass shoes to match. I know there are gonna be some who think that I act as if I've given memorial to the memories of my identity. And hell, maybe I do need to start concealing what I'm feeling as a masked man, but I'm tired of continuing to reside and basking in the past tense, all the who's, when's, why, and what's God's master plan. Nah. You see, just sitting in it, spending every waking minute with rose tinted lenses, tenement in these inner visions and these dismal cribs, it's beginning to corrupt my overview, resulting in a mental astigmatism. Surely. But see, that's if I let it. So for me, nah, I choose that it's just best to forget it and look at it as my recompense.
They call me not a person,
A caged bird.
just job security.
But not the man I used to be before they reshaped me into a commodity.
Churned, smooth enough to slide into a cell without a sign.
Entering is easy, but you'll never get out of bounds.
I mean, even if you're free, you'll still bear the mark of wings broken like large bills.
Yeah, this place really is for the birds.
No, not birds. I said bills, as in dollar bills.
We've always prayed, but we always received the wrong prophets. Different brothers,
Same topic.
Ron was emotionally shocked when the Chicago racist sharp cops snatched him from the block, plugged him into a black box, and jolted him with electric shock so extreme that his socks seemed to smoke. And Stan, he hoped that someone would walk in and stop those same racist men from wrapping plastic around his head, cutting off his oxygen. But no one came. These men were detained and framed through fabrications and misinformation that led to their incarceration for crimes they didn't commit. Crimes they didn't even have a hand in. Yet there was no criminal investigation against the criminals that committed crimes that echoed medieval Inquisition. No one cared about the terror during the John Burge era because these men were seen as minorities. They labeled them as minor concerns, then waited for their turn to treat them with hostilities. The prosecutors prayed and soared, and the persecutors prayed to the Lord for 30 years. With faces full of tears, they often wondered if their names would ever be cleared. They even feared that the God of the living wasn't listening to the fact that their natural lives had been commandeered. So they started kicking, scratching, and fighting. 12,775 days of fighting with motions and writing appeals to a justice that wouldn't heal. They even started begging for mercy to a system that's deaf and blind. A generation turned into a moment of lifetime. Then they were exonerated. Then they felt vindicated. Then they returned to the world that flipped their world upside down, and they crowned them with a certificate of innocence. As if that experience could be erased from their brains. As if that wrongful conviction wasn't still pulsing in their veins. They gave them guys a lot of money, but they still owed them some change.
But in God we trust.
Yeah, trust that there is no God here.
Maybe there is a God here. Maybe God is in my name. And that if I search hard enough and go far enough into those cracks of my mind, that I can not just find God, but I can find my name as well.
Bro, this cell ain't that big. Just look.
I'm talking about my mind, not this cell.
In this beautiful country of ours,
Everything is for sale. Cause see, there's no worse place to begin than in an 8x10 surrounded by steel and concrete, trying to fight back tears. Your blood's bubbling, sick of cells and tight stacked tears, souls cold froze solid from those ice-packed years. Quarter century sentenced to being kenneled in a dog cage with no elbow for the dog days. Just lockdowns and lost age, hot rounds from a cop's gauge that acts like foxhounds on a chase for a lost slave. They say systematic design made us products of our environment, which programmed our mind till we wind up in alignment. See, while they were up there, we were right under to underline them. And the con was to turn our consequences to confinement. Just peep the 13th Amendment exception clause. Read the fine print. Let's show you slavery ain't abolished. They just changed assignment. They locked Matulu in Kentucky, Mandela on the island, put Mumia in the mob, and Clement King in an asylum. You know what that type of stuff can do to a person's mind? Never mind, these just words, right? It's all props. Forget I'm a solitary soul who starved in a small box, hearing silent screams swallowed by the sound of a small lock. Seeing multitudes of men meet their end from outbreaks of COVID, shingles, legionnaire, or smallpox. Watching stress tumors mass from all the madness. Just imagine the magnitudes of people who try to manage that. Seeing families fracture because fathers vanish without a trace. All for political agenda or genocidal hate. Watching brown and black bodies being buried underneath bureaucracies, policies and politics which profit off of its property, plantations to prison. Same chains, different ology. Exterminate black messiahs through drugs, jails, or poverty. No true apologies as far as I can see. There's no fair treatment. They just band-aiding landmine victims. They calamine our traumatic scars, or ketamine our damaged heart. Black leaders preach and fight for freedom, but teach us how to spar then. God, teach us how to walk then. Lead us as we march, knee deep inside this march till freedom's really ours. And please keep this dark beast from feeding off our stars so we can shine through these bleak and dismal clouds. No longer standing still we stand, clenched fist tight as steel, raised screaming, yes we can, yes we can, yes we can. So I ask kindly that you please stand down if you don't understand, because so long to the days when we plead and just talk. No. Now we just walk.